Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back in. There is a 90% chance that William will not be with us by the end of this episode. He is absolutely on his deathbed. I don't know if you can tell, but there's actually tape on his eyes just holding him together right now, and he's just functioning like an AI robot. So, to get him through this episode, we need you guys to hammer that subscribe button. That's the only thing. That's the best medicine. It's the best medicine, they say. In Michigan, you need Verner's, a Flintstone vitamin, and people to hit that subscribe button. You'll be feeling right as rain in 24 hours, William. What are we talking about today?
Good shout out to Verner's, man, because I have been smacking the Verner's. There's been Verner's and tea. We're trying to get this thing back.
Listen, you need those three things, and you need a day off at Mama Ford's house to watch some Prices Right and some Maury, and you'll be good to go in
My
24
goodness,
hours.
man. I'll be back, man. I'll be back. That's no joke. That's no joke, man. Today we're gonna go with some. I guess we'll call it news and rumors, man. News and rumors, because there's nothing official yet, but we're gonna go with Adam Schefter. Kind of broke it earlier today, and he was talking about. It looks like the Lions are working to hire the pass game coordinator from the Denver Broncos, Johnny Morton. So when I first saw it, man, I was like, Johnny Morton, are we talking
the old wide receiver?
Yeah, the Detroit Lions ex wide receiver, man. What's going on? Last I heard, he was in some trouble. I didn't put that out there, but hey, man, I hope you took care of that IRS business.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. That's right, allegedly. But yeah, man. So he wasn't a guy that was on my radar, but I think it makes sense. He's a Michigan guy, man, 22 years of experience, graduated from Western, man. So I think for those reasons, it makes sense. I know he was here in 2022 as like a senior offensive analyst, so he's familiar with the guys. I'll be honest, I'm eh, okay on it, man. How you feel about it, Steve?
I'm deeply concerned, William, if I'm being flat out honest with you. We're talking about a guy that's removed from this team for essentially 3 years. So the only players on offense that he really has ties with are like Taylor Decker, Jared Goff, St. Brown, Sewell and Ragnow. Like he doesn't have any experience with most of our playmakers, hasn't had any experience with Jameson Williams, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta. So I've got some concerns. There's some things that we'll get into in this episode. Listen, at the end of the day, there's just you just gotta trust Dan. All right. If he thinks that he's a guy, he's coached with him, he's been around him, he knows how he is. So my concerns don't mean shit in this world. I understand that, but I don't know, William. It's kind of a name that's coming from left field. I've read some reports, I've read some articles that I do have some concerns about, but ultimately, I don't know. I think I have a lot of questions.
That's a perfect segue into my next question, Steve, because bouncing around the Twitter world, man, I've seen some allegations, I guess I'll call them, from 2018 when he was with the New York Jets, saying that the reason why the Jets let him go was because, one, a lack of commitment to run the football, two, he was getting into it with Todd Bowles, and three, he was having some trouble with the players. So, and that's from multiple sources, because I don't believe in getting on here and just saying something. So first time I saw it on Twitter, I went and did some digging, and then I saw that it was coming out from multiple reporters, multiple beat writers from the Jets. So I'm like, that's interesting, but that was in 2018. He has been with the Lions since then. 2022, he's with the Lions. He's been with Sean Payton the last 2 seasons. They got that rookie quarterback going, Bo Nix, going this year. That offense was looking pretty doggone good, making some things happen, especially with a rookie quarterback. So I feel like Dan knows him. If there was some true player problems, I feel like he would be aware of it. But there is the caveat or the second hand of that, Steve, and let me know how you feel about it. When you're a senior offensive analyst, how hands-on are you with the players day to day? Is it more of the OC and the position coaches and everything? How much are you dealing with players? How you feel?
It's a concern. It's a huge concern. It's different than sitting up in a booth and just, taking some notes and getting your data and getting everything in your tablet or iPad and getting some information. You got a headset on. You're not communicating with the quarterback. It's going fast. You've only got 40 seconds in between plays, and we're just talking game day stuff. I don't know, William. I don't have a warm and fuzzy. Okay. I really don't. When will I get that warm and fuzzy? Probably won't be until about halfway through the 2025 season once I see how this offense is looking. So, I mean, I'm sure that this will grow on us. We'll probably be I can't imagine 2 people who are going to get looked at more this offseason in the training camp than Kelvin Shepard and Johnny Morton. But I don't know. I'm still worried. I'm cautious, but I do trust Dan. I do trust Brad. The stuff with the Jets is the same stuff I read. So your shovel and my shovel must have been the same because our digging led us into the same exact hole. Here we are talking about it. It's a huge concern because the culture of the Detroit Lions has been so far removed from Matt Patricia and any type of negativity that I try not to be pessimistic, but this could mess things up. All right. When you talk about a guy who doesn't have the trust or faith in his locker room, that could cause some rifts and some ripples. I don't want to see that trickle out onto the field again, but I'm a firm believer that you probably deserve a second chance. Everyone gets a second chance in life at something. Whatever mistakes he made in New York, let's hope that he's kind of learned and grown. I don't know him personally to speak about it. I don't know the exact situation. I know they had a rookie quarterback out there in New York Jets with Sam Darnold still there, I believe. So I'm sure that there was, I don't know. I'm also still concerned about how pass heavy he is. Like you kind of mentioned that he refused to run the ball. You trust Jared Goff to throw the ball 50 times in an offense that's kind of designed his way? Because I have some concerns there too, William, that I've already voiced about. So how do you feel about this?
That worries me. The lack of running the football, that worries me a lot because we got arguably the best running back in the league. I keep saying it. I know Saquon did some crazy things yesterday, but I'm still going to stand on it. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is the best running back in the football league. If not, he's number 2 behind Saquon. So 1 or 2, I don't care where you got him, man. We have a really, really good running back, a couple of good running backs, man. But when you're talking about top tier in the league, we have one here. Young guy, up and comer. I think we should be featuring this offense around him and then using that run game to open up the pass game. He's been known as a pass heavy guy, yet remains to be seen. Obviously, Coach Campbell trusts him. He has a long history with Coach Campbell. He does have a pedigree of great coaches that he's worked with over his years, his 22 years in the league. So that brings me a little bit of a warm and fuzzy. The fact that we still have Tanner Ingstrand in the building, and I'm hoping that this news won't lead to news that he's gone and going with that head coach of the Chicago Bears or something along those lines. But I read earlier, shout out to Pride of Detroit. When I remember the stuff that I read, I like to give love. So they put out earlier that Tanner Ingstrand and Johnny Morton worked really well together in 2022. So that could be something that we look towards. And maybe this is just another notch on Tanner Ingstrand's belt to help develop him into being an OC. And maybe if he has future aspirations of being a head coach, I don't know if he does or he doesn't, but maybe this is just another notch on his belt. Maybe he wasn't quite ready yet. And they're going to bring this guy with all this experience in, because we talked about it before, not necessarily wanting to have 2 brand new coordinators. So maybe this is just Coach Campbell doing just that, man. And we still got guys like Scotty Montgomery is still in the building. So if we return those guys, I'll feel a little bit better about it, but I'm not over the moon. I'm not, obviously, when I seen it this morning, I didn't hop off of my deathbed and call you and tell you how pumped I am. You know, if it's good news, I'm blowing your phone up or you're blowing up mine. So it's not one of those, but I don't know. I'm not panicked either.
If I'm being honest with you, the only reason I didn't text you about this news, William, is because I had already thought that you made that transition over into a better place. You're just already there. So yeah, he's with the he's not at Ford Field. He's with the Lord now, guys. All right, so that's where I was thinking. While I'm thinking about it, while you were talking, I was just thinking, like, as an OC or even a defensive coordinator, you have to be adaptable. You have to your strengths when you're going from different team are shifting. So when I think about him being with the Jets and with the Broncos, they've never had a solid running game in Denver or New York during this time from 2018 to now. So when you're coming to the Detroit Lions, and that's probably our strength is our offensive line and our elite running back and Jahmyr Gibbs, I think he has to adapt. All right. And we're going to get a look at that, how his scheme is going to be, because I can't watch Jared Goff throw the football 40 times and be featured as the offensive showcase. I can't do that. I could watch Jahmyr Gibbs touch the ball 25 times and be more than comfortable. I think that if he's willing to adapt and align himself with the strengths of the Detroit Lions, we'll be okay. So I think that's probably my biggest concern now that I've had a minute to listen to you and kind of gather myself and think that's what has to happen. All right. Yeah. Jared Goff cannot be a drop back 50 times a game quarterback and put the ball in his hands that many times and go win a football game. Jared Goff's not elite. There's probably a lot of people out there that still think he is. There's a reason we're not playing in the NFC Championship or the Super Bowl. Just keep that in mind. So I think if Johnny Morton comes in here, if he's willing to adapt and realize that the strength of this team is something that he's never had before, I'll have a lot more faith in him.
Steve, I gotta You have literally led me into a segue to everything that's been going through my mind. And I swear to you guys, we did not talk about
No,
this ahead
I've
of
talked to you for like 3 minutes today, and it was, "Hey, I'm on my way home. Are you ready to talk?"
facts. You're leading me into my final question of the day, most likely, man. Jared Goff. So I was thinking about this situation, this OC. Obviously knowing that he was here. Coach Campbell talked about it at his press conference last week, saying that Jared Goff would be a part of the process of selecting an offensive coordinator. So if they do select this guy, obviously Jared Goff has signed off on him. To me, these moves look like, and I know he said that this is what he was going to do, but it looks like Coach Campbell trying to keep everything the same. What kind of perks my ears up about that is it makes me wonder, does Jared Goff have to play this game a certain way to be successful? Like, and then where does that make him fall when we're ranking these quarterbacks? Because to me, and guys, I'm a boxing fan, I'm a fighting fan, but in sports, when I'm evaluating sports in general, I just learned it from fighting. When I evaluate, I look at what can a team do, right? So can you run the ball? Can you pass the ball too? Are you good defensively? How are you at each level? What's your coach like? What's your staff like? What's your stadium like? Is it home or is it away? I look at each layer, how much do you have? And then I evaluate all that against the situation. And when I think about that, it's got to be the same when you would evaluate a quarterback. Are you the type of quarterback? Because listen, I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be a pretty darn good football player, regardless of who the OC is. Our quarterback right now, Sean McVay, has some things to say about the way that he wanted to play the game and who he was as a quarterback. And I still believe to this day, Jared Goff could not play the style of football that Sean McVay wants to play. That doesn't mean he's a bad player, but he can't just go play any style of football. So then that had to make me kind of pump my brakes with where I rank Jared Goff in as quarterbacks. And then it makes me think again, what does that mean for trying to win a Super Bowl? I still stand on the fact that I believe we have to have the right situation around Jared Goff for him to win the Super Bowl. So I'm really hoping, and I don't want to take this show in another direction, but you guys tell me if you want to hear a show about it. I really think we need to look at making sure Hendon Hooker is either the guy that we should be developing and having ready to step in, maybe not next season, but in the future, or we draft a guy. Because do you guys still believe that Jared Goff can lead this football team regardless? Because when I'm thinking about Patrick Mahomes, if Patrick Mahomes is our quarterback, Steve, I believe if Amon-Ra St. Brown goes down, and we talked about this before, Amon-Ra went down a couple years ago, and our offense went to this. It went to garbage, right? Yeah, I don't think that happens if you got a quarterback that can put the team on his back, right? I don't think Jared Goff is a put the team on his back guy, and I think that we should be looking for that guy. How do you feel?
Well, the first thing you're absolutely right. I remember Dan Campbell saying the same thing, that Jared Goff was going to be involved in this hiring process. And ever since I've been hearing Johnny Morton's name, I've been trying to connect the dots. Like, how does Jared Goff know him? I can't connect anything together where they've even been in the same time zone together. So I assume that if this interview was done in person or virtually, I assume Jared was there. I assume he heard all the answers, probably asked a couple questions himself. I don't know. I'm assuming he's involved in the interview process. But how could he be comfortable with a guy and say, yeah, I want that guy to be my OC on just a 5 minute, hour, or an hour long conversation? I don't know. That's another concern I have, because Jared Goff has to be involved. Dan Campbell's already came out and said that. They haven't been on the same staff at all that I'm aware of. So how familiar is he? And I don't know, Will. We've talked about this before. I've said I can't put Jared Goff in a better situation than I did in 2024 with the best OC, the best head coach, the best offensive line, the best weapons, the best scenario, home field advantage, and he still couldn't get the job done. So I don't know what Johnny Morton's going to bring that gets Jared Goff over the hump. I don't know. That's another concern. But I mean, maybe Ben Johnson's sitting at home right now thinking, dang, if I would have ran that ball more times with Jahmyr Gibbs, maybe I could still be playing football in this season. But here we are. So I don't know. I think Johnny Morton has the potential, but I'm not over the moon happy. I think right now I'm probably at like a 3.5 out of 10, just because I have a lot of concerns, a lot of questions. I don't know what direction we're heading. I don't know if we're going to be a pass heavy team. Does that mean we have to look at offensive weapons in the draft to make Jared Goff more comfortable? Like, I don't know what more I can give Jared Goff to make him a successful quarterback than what he's had this past season. So I don't know. I guess time will tell. At the end of the day, I trust Dan Campbell. I trust the Detroit Lions. It's still my team, but you're not wrong. If you come here and you're just you think that this is a 10 out of 10 hire, um, explain it to me, because I'd like to do some research on why people are so confident about this, because my confidence is not through the roof like it normally should be.
Yeah, Jared did have one season with him in the building in 2022. He was the senior analyst, but I don't know what that means. I don't, did he was he just going over the film? Was he going over practice film, or was he hands-on down there communicating with them? Or like, I don't know exactly what that means, guys. And if feel free to inform me on my lack of knowing, on my ignorance on it. So if you know what senior offensive analyst does on day to day, it's kind of like Chris Spielman. We talk about Chris Spielman and his knowledge, right? But what does Chris Spielman do day to day? All right, he's not working with Jack Campbell day to day, day in and day out. Now he's got a tremendous amount of knowledge. He does, but what is he doing with them day to day? So I'm interested, Steve. I think you're onto something. What is Jared Goff seeing in him that's making him want to sign off on it? Or is it maybe Tanner Strings in his ear saying, hey, listen, I like this guy. He helped me out tremendously while he was here for a cup of coffee. And, I think we should bring him back. So again, I think me and Steve are on the same boat. Guys, let us know how you're feeling. Are you over the moon about it? Are you concerned? Where you sit, man? Because I'm like I said, I'm lukewarm.
Yeah, lukewarm. Shoot, I'm not even on the stove with the burner on, William. I would have preferred if you told me that Jared Goff and Johnny Morton played in the same Fortnite lobbies together, and maybe that's how they had such a strong connection, because I just don't I just don't see it. But I don't know. Again, this news isn't officially official. It's looking like it's kind of leaning that way. When Will put up this graphic, are in the process of hiring him. Kind of sounds like to me they're just trying to figure out some numbers and how much his salary is going to be and for how long. So this news is probably coming sooner rather than later. If it comes up, we're probably not going to talk about it again, because we dove pretty deep into it today. No, my opinion's not going to change if he's hired or not. If we go in a different direction, we'll talk someone else. Well, you got anything else for the rest of the night?
No, I think that's it, man. Let us know how you feel about it.
All right, guys, stick around, hit that like button. Will has to go to bed early and watch some Prices Right in the morning. We'll be back later with another show.
Peace.